you see all this stuff going around you on now, but this has been going on for 100 years. It's just now that it's coming out into the open that people are waking up, and you got the Occupy Wall Street, Occupy San Francisco, Occupy everything now. Just wait until people start losing their checking account and their 401k. MF Global customers, 150,000 customers shut out of their accounts. These people are angry as can be. And when they lose everything, that's when they hit the streets. That's when the lawsuits come down and the prosecutions, and there's going to be a lot of anger out there. So as far as when it happens, we'll know. How's that?
So the crash comes first and then the consequences.
Yes.
So, thank you very much.
And the reason for that is the good guys want the blame to be placed squarely on the bad guys, squarely on the banking cabal and all these bad guys that have been rigging these markets and in holding us captive for so long.
Indeed.
Which brings us back to the timeline of the road to Ruta and the last questions that we're going to rack your brain with, Bix. The first question in these last three is going to come from Alan. Alan?
Okay, again, please tell us what you believe will happen with respect to the issuing of a new U.S. currency, including when that might happen and how that might affect domestic and international effects.
Okay. It is a little complicated, and as far as timeline, it was delayed. The original takedown of the system and reintroduction of some kind of a gold-backed system was December of 2008, and in January they were going to introduce the new dollar or new $100 bill. And if you've been on my website at roadtoruta.com, there's an article right at the top called "The Hidden Meanings in the New $100 Bill," and that new $100 bill was announced, and they showed it, and it has gold all over it. It's got talk of overthrowing the government. It is beautiful. It's a great bill. I do a full analysis on it. And then when Hank Paulson came in and kind of shut down the implosion, they pulled back the $100 bill. They again announced it in, I think it was the beginning of last year, and then they said there was a creasing problem with it, and they pulled it back again. Now they're saying when we do introduce it, once we make the announcement, it'll be 6 months until the bills start circulating. This is all hinging around the whole Road to Ruta concept, that you'll be able to go into your bank with a $100 bill or a $5 bill or a $10 bill and get that same amount in coin, in physical gold or silver coin. So the timing of it all is, it's happening now, and the beginnings of the takedown began when the U.S. We got downgraded on purpose. We did that on purpose. There's, nothing happens by accident these days in the monetary system. And then the takedown of MF Global is all part of it. You're going to see the implosion of Europe. I'm kind of now on the cliff high timeline of a March major crisis, as in the U.S. dollar crashes, or the euro is claimed to be worthless, and that anything, it's the system is so weak right now. Anything tips that scale a little farther, and it's game over. So I would say March, things are going to continue to get worse. Ron Paul's going to continue to move up in the polls saying, hey, I told you so, I told you so. And then March with the crash. And if you had to have a hard date, I've given myself a hard date that if it goes past this, I'm going to say I was wrong, and I always have been wrong. And that is December 2012. Because there's so many other things that are going to go on then also. But if this game continues past that point, then I might as well hang up my coat and say, we tried our best to get rid of these guys, but we can't. And, welcome to the land of slavery to banks.
Well, we are all certainly with you, and I thank you.
Sure.
Okay, Bix. One more time, I'm gonna put your old words back to you. In the last interview, you expressed the view that the K winter would entail a complete collapse of derivatives, banking, and fiat money, everything, and that it would take a mere 6 to 8 months for that time frame to roll through. Did you really mean 6 to 8 years? In relation to the degree to which the K-wave cycle has been extended, various people view that cycle as having been delayed by 11 to 15 years. 6 to 8 months seems a very short time period for a refractory coming out of it. Similarly, other analysts have the view that this great debt debacle has been built up and drawn out for decades. And wouldn't a short time frame just seem out of kilter with regard to how long it was pushed out for? What gives you the hope that the good guys have a plan and that bouncing along the bottom would only be a short 6 to 8 month time period to recover from decades of debt abuse?
Various things that I watch. One is the global implosion of the derivative market. It is happening now. It started in probably September. It kicked in October when MF Global wasn't able to cash in their CDSs. That is breaking down now. Europe's talking about declaring all credit default swaps illegal. There's all sorts of things happening right now. So I would say that the 6 month time period in my mind has begun. Probably began mid-October, will run through April or so, and then everything will be crashed by the summer. And the restart will be very fast, because once you wipe out all debt and all paper assets, you got to get on your feet and start, just to start transacting commerce. And the U.S. has been planning for this since the early 70s. And these aren't stupid people who have been running this road to Ruta thing out. They're very smart, and they've been planning for it. So, yeah, if it does go past, 2012, you can pretty much kiss everything that you know and love goodbye, because that will mean the bankers have won. They'd probably depopulate the earth. They have all these plans for one world government. If it goes on longer, we will lose, and the good guys will lose. That's why it has to happen quickly, and that's why the U.S. Treasury announced that when they announce the $100 bill again, it'll be 6 months before it is out there trading. And I do believe that's kind of symbolic of the use of gold and silver as money.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. The last question is actually from forum member Blankenby, and his question is, what is the current road to Ruta timeline? Where are we?
Well, we're it has begun. The last time we talked in June, we were expecting the end of the summer and for the chaos to begin. The chaos has begun. It's partially the MF Global, partially Europe. It should run. I'm on Cliff High's timeline of March should be the ultimate big crash, and then hopefully we'll get Ron Paul in as president to see us through the transition. I think that's the plan. Keep an eye on Sarah Palin, believe it or not. I think she has been part of the plan all along. No matter what you think about Sarah Palin, she seems to connect to middle America, and a lot of people listen to what she has to say, and that all the things that she's been doing in the past 2 years, she's been kind of running for office without declaring that she's going to run for office. I think when the time is right, she's going to endorse Ron Paul and be running with him as vice president. I know that's a long shot, but when I made that call 2 years ago, nobody thought Ron Paul was even going to run. And I didn't think he was going to run because he didn't have the support. Now he declared that he's running. She has yet to endorse any candidate. And I just heard on Thursday, I think it was, I heard her on the news, and she kind of said she's leaning towards Ron Paul. And it's kind of all coming true. And so as far as my timeline, it's happening now. We're in it. Behind the scenes, things are imploding faster than you can see on the TV. The TV, they don't tell you much these days because they're trying to hide everything. But now through March, it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. And then with a March implosion, and then we try to get back on our feet. And by December, we'll probably have all our troops home and be working off some kind of gold and silver standard, trying to prepare for what happens after that.
Okay, thanks, Bix. And on behalf of Blankenby, I'd like to correct myself and let it be known that Blankenby's a she.
Okay.
We've been speaking with Bix Weir of roadtoruta.com. Thank you for sharing your time and thoughts with us today, Bix. We hope the listeners have gained insights into the topics we've been discussing, and we hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. If you didn't, you must not have paid attention to our no refunds, no exchanges policy, where we clearly state that all sales are final. The road to Ruta is a complex, winding journey, much of which will not be within your view. And while there are signs and waypoints along the way, and the opportunity to enjoy some sights, in particular those of the gold and silver shops where you might consider exchanging your fiat for tangible coin and specie, those items that have held their value over the millennia, the path that this road, the road to Ruta travels, won't be a pleasant one. Since we are the Time Monk Radio Network, we are forward-looking, and we believe the past is for historians, as long as the lessons have been learned. We'll keep our eyes looking for what the future may hold. On behalf of Fox and all of the members of the Time Monk Radio Network, thank you, Bix. And in our tradition, may you and yours have many tasty pies to come.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bix.
You're welcome.
All right, Bix, have a great evening.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bix.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bix.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you.